Just talking? Well, what's the show about? It's about nothing. No story? No, forget the story. You gotta have a story. Who says you gotta have a story?
Some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. Some men just want to watch the world go.
Instead, only try to realize the truth. There is no spoon.
There is no spoons.
I'll tell you what it's worth. Not a damn thing. It's a waste of time.
Welcome to Frivolous Fandom with Mike and Kev. I am Mike.
I am Kev.
And today we're going to discuss a very dear subject to us in our hearts. Or they were dear subjects to us.
The subjects formerly known as deer.
Yeah. So, you're a kid, you're with your parents or your friends or your cousins or, something. And you're going to see a movie. And it's awesome. It's great. It leaves an impression on you. You grow up thinking fondly back to it.
You throw a tantrum and beg your mom to buy you all the toys when you're in Target or wherever you are the next few years.
You get the lunchbox.
Yeah,
the whole
you get the
9
backpack.
yards.
You get the cheap tattoos.
And then one day, when you're around 17, that's when this stuff starts. You and your friends go, you know what?
You know what'd be awesome?
We should go watch the old movie.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
And then you're like, wait, that didn't happen like that.
And then you watch it and suddenly, oh, right in the child hunt. Ow.
Suddenly, it all becomes very clear that literally nothing good can come of this movie.
Those movies stunk.
And you just were literally too young to realize how absurdly terrible they were.
Your snarky older sibling or cousin was right.
Yeah, right. And you know now why your mom did not want to take you to go see it yet again.
Mm-hmm.
But, of course, we're talking about childhood movies today. Specifically, childhood movies that you loved that you cannot go back for you will ruin the movie.
Or at least we're going to advise you not to go back.
Yeah, these movies are better left untouched. Let the nostalgia be your guide. Just enjoy the memory you have of how good this movie was. Don't try to actually relive it, because you can't.
Treat these movies like you would a corpse if you were in Transylvania in the 18th century. It might be a vampire. Don't disturb it.
The only way it would be good is if you were rewatching it with your kid or something,
mm-hmm.
and you'd only enjoy it because they were, you know what I mean, just seeing their reaction. You can't hardly get any value out of these movies anymore. The only value is the loving memory in your head. So, Mike, let's start off with a really obvious one. If you're between the age of 20 and 30, you probably watched this movie as a child.
Yeah, if you were just hitting grade school in the late 90s, which we were, you watched the Power Rangers movie.
Undoubtedly, you watched the Power Rangers movie. Because it was this sort of thing happens. This is before movie... Well, never mind. There's movie adaptations of a lot of stuff already. But this is before everything had a movie adaptation. This was
live-action TV shows rarely had movie... for kid live-action TV shows, you didn't really have, the movie.
Yeah, right.
This was the movie. First
to
movie.
start all the movies, yeah. And
capital, bold, all caps, the movie.
Yeah, right.
This was what it was.
And the nice thing, the reason, I think the biggest reason these movies work when you're a kid is because you don't need a plot when you're a kid. You're not concerned with the plot or character development or anything. I don't even know if I knew what was happening other than they got sweet ninja outfits and then went and fought stuff.
Yeah, they put on some brightly colored tights. And suddenly they fought a bunch of people who you could kick and punch and stab, and just sparks came out. It was great.
Yeah. Or they evaporated into a giant puff of smoke or something like that.
And you know what? We all knew they were just toy statues that got magically turned into monsters.
Right.
So they don't matter.
And the thing with a lot of these movies that you can tell is they knew they were making it for kids, and so they weren't going to pay a quality writer to make an elaborate story.
I would love to
they
see
knew
the
they
casting.
didn't need it.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, they're like, okay, so for the actors, just make them like relatively attractive. We need one from every ethnic group, and make sure they can do taekwondo.
Make sure they coordinate with the color of their costume.
Oh god, that was not. I mean, making.
I got an argument with somebody about that. I was like, no, the Power Rangers did not coordinate the race to the color of Power Ranger they were, and then they were like, we like bet on it and went and looked it up, and I was like, shoot, they all coordinated.
Oh yeah. For the first one, they fixed it.
For the first one, yeah.
They switched the black guy from the Black Ranger to the Blue Ranger.
Yeah,
and they made
the Blue Ranger. And the Yellow Ranger was no longer Asian.
Which I'm like, okay, so I wonder if they just did that subconsciously or if they intended to do that.
Right.
I don't know. But no,
I don't think that was subconscious. Like, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Honestly, who knows? And to be honest, I think for those actors.
Well, I think what it was is they were like, we can't have, like, they just want to mix up the ethnicities, but of course the hot girl is going to be pink. And there's only two colors of female ranger, pink and yellow.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and that's why it's funny when you look at it too, because I think I would have loved to have seen the auditions for these.
Right.
It's like, okay, I need you to do a double tornado, like a double spin tornado kick. I need you to.
You need to do a real life Tatsumaki.
Yeah.
Seppuku.
Look, I think most of them were like second dan black belts in Taekwondo, or they did American kickboxing.
They were all athletic, at least.
Yeah. Like, I know the Red Ranger guy was, he's actually a legit, like, winning competitions, almost Olympian type Taekwondo person. Right. And then realized I can get paid a lot more money.
Yeah, that's not dependent on winning either. Well, I guess you had to win the role.
Well, dude, and he's made so much money. Him and the White Ranger made so much money off of Comic-Con appearances.
Off of the 90s.
Oh, God, yeah. Every time they wanted to have him come back and do a cameo role, it's another couple grand.
They're like, look, we only need you in one episode a season. When things get really dicey, we're going to bring the White Ranger in because for some reason... Like, what is he busy doing, by the way? Are there other, like, Ranger squads across the universe that he's just, like, free agenting for? Like,
you know, I don't know if they'd work that far.
They never...
in the universe.
I don't think they'd tell you. He's just like, I have to go.
Or I love how it goes. It goes lion, saber-tooth tiger, triceratops, pterodactyl, and then Godzilla. Like that's the green, and then tiger. Like just normal tiger.
Well, he was like a weird griffin looking thing in the movie when he became
White
Ranger. I don't even know what he was like like bigger than pterodactyl, but like not quite a tiger. I don't know what he was.
It was just like it was clearly like a lion thingy, but it had wings, and you're like, what? I mean, even as kids, we knew what a griffin was. And we were like, what is that?
That's not fair. He gets to invent his own creature? Like, did they get to pick their creatures, or are they just like...
I don't know. All I do know is I'm surprised, like, the creators of Godzilla did not sue them, because the green, in the TV show...
He's like a bigger dino.
He's Godzilla. He's a green, chubby-legged, fat dinosaur. Like, he's totally Godzilla. And
he just looks over at Red Ranger, he's like, that's right. I'm like you. Yeah. I'm like you, but better. Yeah. Yeah, you think you're the leader. I'm not even here. I literally neglect you guys on purpose, and they still love me as their leader more than you. I only show up once a month, and they see me as their leader.
To be honest, I don't remember what was the verbal plot to this movie. Like,
I don't. It had something to do with ooze, man. I think they were like, it was like a kind of a ripoff of like Ninja Turtles.
Oh, gotcha.
They had this ooze, and then like they gave it to the kids because the kids thought it was cool, and then I'm pretty sure it like turned them into monsters.
Oh, cool. All right.
So
it's a drug. Oh my god.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was basically a drug.
It's a drug reference. The 90s. Yes.
Yeah, and it was all like, neon colors everywhere, and the bad kids with their jean jackets were like selling the ooze under the table, and the teachers couldn't know about it. And then,
oh my god, 90s stuff.
I don't remember why they had to go to the jungle and get ninja powers, though. I don't remember.
Dude, because ninja.
Because, yes, and it just had to happen. Why? Why? It had to. No, why? It had to happen.
Here's my question.
No, Mike, it had to.
Because of ninjas. That's well, I love how, so the moral of the story is don't take drugs from kids in jean jackets.
Yes.
But listen...
Specifically in the 90s. If you ever find yourself in the 90s, don't trust jean jackets. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, and listen to the giant floating head, the bodiless head in the tube.
I think he died in the movie, by the way. I think that was a big deal. Yep. Like, they find their lair or whatever and kill Zordon. Yeah, and then that's why they had to go to the jungle. And it was like one of those things, I think, where they had to go do some soul searching.
Spirit quest.
Yeah, and they found themselves in the jungle, and then they just found themselves stumbling upon new powers somehow.
You know what? that's why I think...
By the way, I think, haven't researched this at all, but I think them finding the bestial powers, because you know how their animals all changed, like Red Ranger became a gorilla. I don't remember what that all became. But I think that's what, like, they realized, hang on, we sold umpty bajillion Power Ranger-looking dolls for this movie, but we just sold twice as many ninja-looking Power Rangers for this movie. And so they realized, like, every series we could just change the theme.
Oh, yeah, they need a new toy.
Yeah, and
That's
just
it.
get a new toy with it. Yep.
Kind of similar to what Pokemon's trying to do now, but that's another podcast.
Well, let's talk about Pokemon, Mike. Let's talk about Pokemon the movie. Literally nothing was cooler. I think this was a little bit after Power Rangers the movie.
I saw that movie 3 times because I wanted all 3 of the legendary cards.
Yeah, because you got a certain... Oh my goodness, yeah, you got a certain little Pokemon card.
Promo! Which now they're not worth anything
No.
because lo and behold, they gave them to everyone.
Yeah, right. It was like, how are you going to get the leg up if you're all using the secret legendary card that you get from the movie?
Well, and
we're all using them because every kid around that age went and saw this movie.
Oh, and everyone's losing their minds to go get Mew, which was written in a pretend language, so you literally... I mean, it literally said in the rule book, you cannot play with this card. You don't know what it does.
I didn't know,
It's
I didn't
not,
know that.
It's not worth anything, but it's holofoil and it's Mew, and so we went bananas, and I had to have it. And so
Right.
you're like looking at it like...
This isn't any Pokemon. This is Pokemon 150. I now have them all.
What, 151?
Oh, was he 151?
151.
And then Mewtwo was 152?
Yeah, and then they added like 3 new Pokemon in that movie. That's the other thing.
Because Pichu was invented for that movie, wasn't he?
Pichu, Meryl, and Donphan.
Which, by the way, I feel like they made that movie and they were like, all right, we're running out of ideas. Because it was only like an hour long or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then they were like, we need at least hour 15. And they're like, just make the stupid Pichu beach party short.
Yeah.
I don't remember even what happened. I don't think I've seen that movie. I don't know. I haven't seen this movie since theaters, honestly. So if you've rewatched it, you might be able to speak to it a little better. But even as a kid, I thought it was awesome. But even as a kid, whenever Mewtwo was like, the only choice we have is what we do with our lives. Or he says something like, he has some deep philosophical thing about basically like believing in yourself and, you're in control of your own destiny. And even as a kid, I was like,
Or that like the main character sacrifices himself and all the Pokemon cry, and apparently Pokemon tears cure cancer.
oh my gosh,
They
the
cure
Pokemon
cancer.
cry.
They cure cancer, and it's just wonderful.
Oh
and
my
not only that,
goodness. As a kid, I never even like put together how stupid
oh my
that
God.
is.
Or that the tears magically turn into sparkles and float
And
towards
float
us.
together? Yeah. Since when have Pokemon had this power? Like, if they had ever, like, prefaced that... I mean, maybe this was the first time in history that Pokemon realized
cried.
they can cure cancer.
Oh, the rock cancer at that.
So
the
now
worst
Team...
kind
But
of
no.
cancer.
Think about it this way. If Pokemon tears cure cancer, then Team Rocket are the good guys. They're going around beating all these Pokemon to make them cry so they can cure cancer.
There are no good guys in the Pokemon universe. All people enslave them and make them fight in dogfights for money. Everyone is evil in Pokemon. They are
Except for
all bad.
Ash, because he lets one of his Pokemon always out of its shell.
No, that's the running gag. Like, as the TV shows progress, he doesn't keep any of the good ones. So that's why he never is the very best. Because, like, cool, you've got Charizard. Like, top 5 Pokemon.
Charizard, you gotta do your own thing, like Mewtwo said. You're in control of your own fate.
I'm gonna let you go. To
Yeah.
go hook up with the bow tie Charizard.
The only time that it started with Butterfree in the cartoon. He let Butterfree go, but every kid's like, alright, I hate that Pokemon anyways. But then after that, you were like, stop letting your Pokemon go, dude.
Well, dude, I was the kid who was like, okay, so I picked Charmander, and I don't feel like leveling up to, like, level 16, so it can evolve to fight Brock, so I'm gonna raise a Butterfree. And so, Butterfree had Confusion, which, wasn't super effective against Onix or Geodude, but it could, like, take him down relatively easy.
Hopefully they punch themselves.
Well, they only knew how to, like, tackle. They didn't do any rock moves.
Right.
Or the Onix did once. So I just had to have, like, a bunch of potions, and I'd win that way.
Right.
So I had just gotten past that part when Ash lets his Butterfree go. I'm like, you idiot!
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
I know what you mean. As a kid, I always liked to do as much as the show. And that's why they made Pokemon Yellow version, but... And, like,
Oh my
that's
God.
another thing in retrospect. Like, as a kid, Pokemon Yellow version was BA. You were like, I get to... Pikachu follows me around. This is sweet! But now, like, as an adult, I'm like, wait. In Pokemon Yellow version, they literally give you Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur. Because Ash just got them all on the show. I'm like, that's not fair. You should have to link up your system with somebody else and trade them those Pokemon.
Well, dude, you could have the all-star lineup. You could have all 3 starters. You could have a fully evolved
I evolved him into Raichu.
Yes.
Off a cliff.
Because you had
Oh, wait,
some
no.
balls.
You couldn't evolve that Pikachu into Raichu. You had to get another Pikachu.
Ugh.
I remember that.
See, that's why it's like, I appreciate following the show, but it's like, to a certain extent, it's like, come on.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't want a dopey Pikachu.
Here's the thing. Okay, maybe it wasn't the right time to turn Pikachu into Raichu in Season 1 or whenever that was, when he fights Lieutenant Surge. But by, like, the 15th season, I think Pikachu's mature enough that he's ready to become a Raichu already. Come on.
I remember in the game, once you hit level 40, like, most of the Pokemon you could evolve with various stones, get to level 40, because you get all the moves better. But if you don't...
Yeah, if you do too early, they are weaker than if you just leveled them up.
Well, believe it or not, they stay weaker, but they get better moves quicker.
But the thing is, too, doesn't Pikachu evolve into Raichu just naturally, if you train him enough?
No.
He never does? Okay,
No,
I thought he
You
did.
need
I
a
thought he
stone,
did.
that's
Okay.
why. And so it was like one of those things where you're looking at it like, come on.
Which I don't think they ever state that. It was just that if he used the stone, he could evolve him right then and there. But it wasn't like, oh, you have to use the stone, period.
Well, I love how, too, like, the show... Okay, we're totally off track.
Well, the show's much better than the movie, so...
Yeah. But I guess with the movie, like, it was funny that the like, science everywhere. Clones.
Right. You're
And
right.
clones are evil because clones. And they all have dark patches under their eyes.
Right. Well, yeah, that's what... that was the funny thing about the movie, is they tried to go with, like, a deeper story and, like, more, like, morally questionable one.
Yeah.
But they don't follow it through.
Oh, they don't. They stop.
Because at the end, Mewtwo just turns into a good guy, and all the Pokemon cry and cure cancer, and you're like, I thought we were having a moral dilemma here about good or bad of clones.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's out the window, because the movie's been going an hour, and they were like, well, we're going to make enough money doing this. Let's just wrap it up, guys.
Yeah. Well, I remember it was actually like kind of trippy to watch all the clones fight their like the original.
Okay, I do remember that.
clones.
Yeah, like the Charizard was fighting the clone Charizard.
And it was so sad. Like they were just like they couldn't win. Neither of them could win. Like they were just beating the crap out of each other. And then like the two Pikachu's are just like Pika. And like like they're literally all collapsing on each other, and it's the most depressing thing ever.
Right.
You're like I feel something in my chest. This doesn't feel like.
You're like, I would feel better if one of them was just killing the other one. Like, I feel bad for them, because we need a winner here. Like, they know they need a winner, but they can't get a winner.
No.
Because that's the thing about clones, they're the same. And you can't defeat it the same.
Which I'm kind of glad they didn't actually like show like a whole room full of the test tubes of the failed clones, which would inevitably have happened. So that you have a Charizard with like only its head going dirt.
Okay, Mike, I gotta ask you this question. I was asking some people the other day. You know how, like, Charizard didn't actually say Charizard anymore? He just was like dragon mode? If Charizard said his name like the rest of, like, most of the other Pokemon, what would his voice sound like?
Charizard.
Just real low, like that? Man, that's real boring.
Charizard.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I would love to think that
That'd
it's
be
just
hilarious.
something absurdly... Like, it sounds just like Charmander.
Like that's why Charizard roars. He's like, I'm not talking.
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
No.
My real voice is embarrassing. And wait, let me translate that into Charizard. Char.
My voice is embarrassing.
Charizard. Yeah, we just did that for like
I saw
20 seconds.
I saw a picture of Charmander dressed up as Commander Shepard. It was Charmander Shepard.
Commander from Mass Effect.
He had the armor and the gun. He was Charmander Shepard. I'm like, what? No!
Charmander. Okay, that's pretty. It's cute. I'll say that about it. It's cute. So real quick, let's get these ones out of the way. Ninja Turtles movies,
Yeah.
but 2 and 3. The first one is great. I don't care what anybody says.
2 and 3 is what we call a child money grab, which we'll cover the
Right.
big next.
I think 2 is the more blatant one of. I actually enjoy the third one. If for nothing else, when the samurais like take the Walkman and smash it with their swords, just because I love that thought. We might have talked about it in the cast. I don't remember, but like, I always want to like go back in time to, let's say, Beethoven and just play dubstep and just like what would they think if they heard this music? They'd be like, "Is this aliens?" Like,
I think that depends. Do we give him like?
I don't explain
early,
anything. I just say, listen to this song real fast.
I say, okay, if we grab the Skrillex remix of Cinema, where it has a softer introduction
Build up, yeah.
into the double up, double dub, double dub, double.
Right.
He might be like, all right, this is strange, but okay.
I like it.
But then if we go,
What is that? A reverb?
If we throw silverware into the blender and give that to him, I think he's going to think we're possessed, and we're probably going to be arrested by the church.
And burned at the
That's
stake.
what I'm saying. Like, I think there's a chance it would reduce people to tears. Like, if you take them back to the olden days, and they don't even have like speakers, and you just take big, huge boombox like speakers, surround sound.
You would probably be. You would like literally be hunted down.
Yeah, they'd be like, "What magic is
This is sorcery. This is bad. Kill it."
It's dark magic. Can you prove that? Listen to it.
Although, you know what would be funny
It's very
too?
screechy.
How easy would it, or how easy and or hard would it be to bluff your way into having more power with a boombox? Like, if I can do this, what else can I do?
Yeah, right.
Until you get the one guy who's like,
Prove it.
Yeah, like, I don't buy it.
You just play a different, like, worse genre. You play death metal. And just act like... Just act like you're Super Saiyan charging up. Start crouching, like, ah! Start screaming.
I think you would, like, on the spot, the Pope would be like,
kill him!
destroy it!
Yeah,
Like,
right.
like, this is clearly from Satan.
Right. Fire, burn it to the ground.
Quick before it
The devil
bleeds.
himself is singing this song.
Actually, and that'd be funny. You'd be a footnote in history. Well, yeah, and then Pope Francis, had them destroy a possessed person in Brussels with a magic box that was spouting satanic music.
Right. By the way, can we talk about how in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, they bring all of the people from the past to the mall or whatever,
I have a
right?
confession to make.
You haven't seen it?
I've never
Okay,
seen it.
I've never seen the whole thing, I'll admit. But, like, there's parts where, like, Beethoven's in the mall, just jamming out on the big synthesizer. And I'm just like, can we talk real quick about how okay with the fact they just got brought into the future all these people are? Can we talk about how okay with it they are?
Oh, yeah. I think, like, Ben Franklin.
Can we talk about how unfazed everyone is to be in the present day?
I think you grab Ben Franklin. I think you grab Isaac Newton. I do think you grab Beethoven. And you grab people that are a little off-kilter anyways.
Right.
And put them there. They're a lot more likely to go, okay, I'm clearly here or I'm having the best dream I've ever had. So I'm gonna enjoy this.
Right.
Now you grab a tightwad.
Abe Lincoln, or he's not tightwad, but Abe Lincoln, or like
You grab someone who's like got a firm grasp.
they grab Attila the Hun, and like he kind of like fights with the security guards, but mainly just like skates around. And, like I don't know how Attila the Hun can skate, but
I'm not gonna lie. I think Attila the Hun is probably like those guards aren't gonna be just fought with. Those guards are gonna be on the ground with their entrails spilling out.
yeah, right.
And then Attila the Hun's gonna get shot.
You're right. He's going down with a projectile for sure.
Attila was not a good diplomat.
And at least like Abe Lincoln, you could, if you're Bill and Ted, you could be like, whoa, yeah, dude, we totally brought you to the future with our time machine. But Attila Hun, like, they're not going to be able to communicate to Attila Hun. He's going to be like, what is going on? I'm freaking out.
Actually, it'd be really funny, like, if you've got, like, oh my god. We'd be able to learn a lot of cool and really bad stuff about each and every one of these people.
Yeah.
Like, Julius Caesar probably had epilepsy.
Okay, Mike, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is not on our list. But yeah, Ninja Turtles, I think that's what we're talking about. The second one, I mean, I love the ninja rap sung by Vanilla Ice. Go Ninja, go Ninja, go! And they hump the microphone. Go, 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 go! I'm not kidding. As a kid, I never realized that was a hump move, but like I watched it, several years like in high school, and I was like, they're humping the microphone right now.
Oh my gosh, so that explains the mac and cheese commercial.
Which one?
Oh my
Are they
God.
saying go Mac and go Mac and go?
Well, no, like, so Vanilla Ice is stalking the counter, and this kid hands his mom the new Ninja Turtles
Mac and cheese,
and she's like, go Ninja, go.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then Vanilla Ice turns and says, "Where do your mother?" Like,
like legit, but he's like serious.
Yeah, and like
he doesn't know that it's supposed to be cheesy. Get it, Mac.
Yeah.
Kraft.
There's too many levels of pun and cheese.
Yeah, it's not a good thing though. You'd think it would be like, oh my gosh, this is so clever.
Like the kind that looks good on paper, then you order it, eat it, and now you're constipated. Right. So you're like, whoa, that was a bad idea. Right.
Now, like, the thing with Ninja Turtles, even the first one, the fighting is really not that great. I mean, there's not like crazy wire work. There's not.
You can't really do much in those suits.
Yeah, right. It's kind of like we run up to each other. I like spin my weapon a cool way and then kick you.
You ever notice how they never killed anybody with their weapons?
Yeah, no, they never even like swung the swords really much to block. They'd like block with the swords. And like Michelangelo and Donatello were allowed to use their weapons because it wouldn't like necessarily kill you. Maybe
whack people.
Even though I surmise that if you bring your bow staff directly over the top and over somebody's skull hard enough, it might kill them.
there's blood going to be involved.
yeah, right.
Subdural hematoma.
Yes. And then by the third one, like, actually, April O'Neil was, I think, a different actress in all of them.
Oh, of course.
But, yeah, it just, the story wasn't, like, real consistent with anything.
Have you seen the Oprah interview where the guy, like, one of the Turtles actors makes us, I want to get her to have a cross-species relationship.
No.
And like the two children up there are like,
yeah, right. Nowadays, we'd be like, yeah, let them do what they want, cross species.
Well, it's just like every it's clearly supposed to be like this is the one show that Oprah got the parents to let their kids watch, and they just
She's
said
like,
that.
dang it.
And she just looks at them like, if I hear about this, I don't think you understand how powerful I am.
Well, she might not have been the GD Oprah yet. She might have just been Oprah.
No, she was halfway. She
was
like,
almost the GD
she was
Oprah?
demigod Oprah. This is 90s, right?
Is that a thing, by the way? You know how there's like the Batman, there's I'm the goddamn Batman. Is there like the GD?
She's the GD Oprah. Well, there was the GD Martha Stewart, but then she went to prison.
Went to prison
and now she's just Martha Stewart again. She's not the GD.
The great thing too is like the stock information that like she ended up selling her stocks early or whatever saved her like $1 million, or it saved like normal people a lot of money, but to Martha Stewart, yeah, it's like why would you risk what you risked for the $1 million or whatever it was? It was like maybe it's more than that, but I just know compared to her fortune, and her empire at the time, it was like not worth it at all.
Well, it's funny how who gets held accountable for financial crimes is largely determined by how outraged the public is going to be.
Right.
And for the public to be outraged, you have to know the people. You have to have an image of them. Which is why, after our giant meltdown, how many Wall Street bankers have gone to jail?
None.
Tell you what, there's more people named Charles Michael Zellweger in this room than there are people who've gone to jail for the Wall Street crisis.
That's one, if nobody got that, because I had to think about what you just said for a long time.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
Anyw's that's not even a
Wolf on
podcast.
Wall Street is not on this movie list. Even though that movie's just terrible.
Holds the record for F-bombs unnecessarily, I have to say.
No, I think the official owner is some obscure movie, but Scarface is up there, by the way.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay,
the guy's on coke. At least that makes sense.
You're right. No, there's so much unnecessary. Like, that you could have cut an hour out of Wolf of Wall Street, most of it either nudity or profanity, and it would have still been a good movie.
I from what I heard, they just wanted Kate Upton to be like...
Oh, it wasn't Kate Upton. It was some Plague boy model.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
I can't believe... Okay, pardon Kate Upton.
She might have been in it. I don't know. It was 3 hours, Mike.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, I was ready to leave, so...
Yeah.
I wasn't paying too much attention. So, Ninja Turtles 1, great movie, has some kind of semblance of a plot that's fun. I mean, Raphael's the bad boy, cool but rude. And then,
hi, I'm a cool but rude guy.
Leo tries to put him in his place, doesn't work, he runs away, gets the crap beat out of him, and, like, the Turtles have to band together to, like, heal up Raphael in the tub. They're like, there's, like, a tender moment where, oh my goodness, I never thought about this, where April O'Neil's, like, dripping water on him. And then it was cross-species. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think they're
You can't hear my facepalm right now, but it's happening.
They weren't going for that at all, by the way.
No, they weren't.
That's like, that is literally like J.K. Rowling coming out and being like, by the way, Dumbledore was gay. And you're like, what? That was never hinted at or even a part of the story at all.
Yeah.
There was no reason for Dumbledore to be gay. Other than she was like, you know what, it's been a couple years and Harry Potter has been in the headlines lately.
I honestly feel like had she actually hinted that something was between Voldemort and Grindelwald beforehand, I would not have been so bummed out. That would have been a confirmation thing. But I'm surprised more people didn't look at her and go, yeah, you're just pandering at this point.
Yeah, because there's no hint of it. And now, like, all the time that him and Harry spent alone just became creepy.
Well, it just didn't need to be said.
Yeah.
It was just like, all right, like... Ugh,
right.
This is a grab.
So yeah, it's the same thing. They weren't going for cross species. It's just a tender moment where you're realizing, oh wow, like April O'Neil really cares for these turtles. And then, there's some skateboarding and some pizza ordering and, Splinter saves the day and then Shredder gets trash compacted. It's a great movie. But 2 and 3 just didn't really have much of a plot working for them other than the climax of Vanilla Ice doing his ninja rap. So yeah. So moving on, let's talk about one that I think we've talked about more than enough, but it still fits, and we'll put a different twist on this one. And we want to talk about the Star Wars prequels. Now, the thing I want to talk about with the Star Wars prequels is, like, the same thing with, like, Harry Potter. Like, the cool thing about Harry Potter was when you're, like, me and Mike's age and around this, like, in, like, a 5-year span.
Yeah.
You literally grew up, like, as Harry Potter was growing up, which was kind of the cool thing. I mean, the books came out a little bit longer, so, I mean, some people were, like, the actors were like, 25 by the time it was finished.
Still pretending to be, like, just out of college age, but they're, like, 26.
Right. I think we were in 3rd grade or 4th grade when the 4th one came out.
Yes.
Or something like that. It was, like, somewhere in there. And so, like, from the 4th one on, it was kind of fun, because we were, like... And then we were in high school or whatever, when, by the time the last one came out, like, 16 years old, and you're like, I'm, like, Harry's age.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun, like, growing up, like, with those stories.
Episode 1 had a really odd progression that way.
Like, with Star Wars?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say the same thing, like, with Star Wars... let's think. The 3rd one came out in 2005. The first part 1 came out in 1999. So there's like a 6-year span. So, I mean, we didn't do quite as much growing up, but we still kind of like, aged along with the movies.
Yeah.
Cause I think we were in 7th or 8th grade, I don't remember, whenever part 3 came
8th grade,
out.
I remember a specific teacher. Yeah. No. 7th grade when it came out, 8th grade when it was on...
Movies. Or video, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So, the first Star Wars, and I never even thought about it as a kid, but the first Star Wars I saw 6 times in theaters. 6 times! Because pod racing and because lightsaber fight at the end was BA. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still listen to Duel of the Fates, and I am not ashamed.
That's an all-time great, like, composed music ever.
And every kid went home and like grabbed a stick and went like, how
yeah,
would you fight
that
with a
crap gives
double-bladed
you
lightsaber?
hype. Oh yeah,
Like,
I know, right?
How would that work? Like, what's...
I've literally decided that one lightsaber is the best way to fight lightsabers. Like,
they've actually, like, in the expanded universe, they've
gone into that.
It's the most,
because I think dual wielding is more trouble than it's worth. Like,
dual wielding, you have to be exceptionally strong, upper body wise, to do it. You have
Right.
to be able to parry an attack.
Right.
And then, I mean, because, like...
Imagine, why aren't there lightsaber shields, Mike? Like a big, like, obviously you'd have to have a strap separating it from your body. But, like, if a lightsaber must not give off enough heat to, like, burn you. Like, if you just hold a lightsaber by you, nobody ever gets burned from that in these movies.
They have energy field reinforced shields early on, but they figured out pretty quickly that because it's not like a sword where it has to cut you,
Right.
it only has to touch you.
Right.
They're easily gotten around, or you can buffet them away and go and stuff. Plus, you can't you can be hit, and the shield, and as long as the shield is metal, it can kind of touch you, and it's not a big deal. But Bernie Shieldy,
right, it would burn you. All right,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, I was also gonna say, because like the big thing like with sword and shield is like you can still break a dude's arm if you swing the sword hard enough and he blocks it. You're still gonna like break his arm. With like a lightsaber, it'd be kind of OP because it'd be like, okay, there's no weight to what I'm swinging right now.
yeah. So, well, and that's why single is the most consistent. It's the least. You have to have the most control of the basics to
Right.
handle it. Dual wielding.
I mean, you have agility. Like it's not your defenses don't go up. I don't think with a dual lightsaber
No,
necessarily.
in dual wielding, what you have is the ability to rapidly attack and defend. So it lets you take on more people at once, and it requires a lot more coordination, and it requires more footwork to do
Right.
properly. And for the double-bladed one, you literally have to have incredible dexterity and acrobatics to do it properly. And that's why the legendary stuntman and
who played
Darth Maul. Awesome.
Wait, was the stuntman just the actor in general?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why they didn't give any lines. They're like, we can't afford, for some reason, even though we're Star Wars, 2 actors.
Yeah. Well, Darth Maul was...
And we don't want to paint that face twice.
No. Well, Darth Maul was supposed to be the rabid dog, which, I don't know, we've already...
Yeah.
But anyways.
Right. I would love to do our version of like how to make the Star Wars prequels good, but there's already like 100,000 videos on YouTube explaining a lot of ways you can make the prequels good.
But you know what? We will. Later.
Another podcast. So, yeah, the fun thing with the prequels was, like, I saw the first one 6 times or whatever, because I was probably only, like, 7 years old when it came out. Somewhere in there. Then, the second one, I remember liking a lot. Mm-hmm. Watched it on video a couple times, but, I didn't have that quite same level of obsession. Then, by the time the third one came out, I was like... I liked it a lot, but I was like, wait a minute, there were issues with that movie.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like, with each one, and then till now, I can go back and watch them all and see, like, the second one, honestly, might be worst.
High ground plus 5 agility.
Yeah, right. You can never beat me, Anakin. I have the high ground. It's like, really? Because that didn't stop you from defeating Darth Maul. Which, by the way, anyone listening, all Darth Maul had to do when Obi-Wan is hanging there and he goes flying through there, flipping over him, all Darth Maul had to do is this.
Or better yet, just keep the blade.
And I think you all know what this is. That's just literally holding your blade out. What is he going to do? Bat it away?
Yeah.
If he'd have held it just right out, it would have chopped him in half.
Maybe that's why Obi-Wan was like, listen, I've done what you're about to try to do. You can't do it to me. I know what to do.
Because I'm going to do this.
Yeah, he catches one leg on the way up and then swings around and gets his arm.
You're right.
And so Anakin hits the ground and he's missing his one human arm.
He's like, not fair.
He's now missing another leg.
Not fair. You can't just hold out your lightsaber like that. No.
Like, I hate you.
Yeah, right.
Like, okay, you attacked him.
You're right. He told you not to attack him. He told you what would happen, and you still did it.
He said, please don't.
You're right.
Which, honestly...
Why would you not let me get my lightsaber back so I can maybe kill you?
Yeah, very quick segue. Does Obi-Wan kill Anakin?
What do you mean?
If I say no...
I say I've seen the movie, and he doesn't kill Anakin. So
well, I know, but I think in that point, he's looking at him, he's like, okay...
Spoilers, by the way.
He's gonna die, I don't need to. But, he was sent there to kill Anakin.
Right.
Yoda was like, you need to go kill him.
Right.
So, if Anakin backs down, does Obi-Wan kill him?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting. You know, and that's, I mean, honestly, the prequels, the part of the biggest issue with doing the backwards trilogies is, the prequels lose something because you know Anakin doesn't die. Like, if, let's say the prequels came out first and you have no idea about Darth Vader... Yeah. Now you're maybe thinking, wait, third movie in the trilogy, big ending, maybe Anakin dies here because, or Obi-Wan, one of them's gonna die, but when you know that in A New Hope, both of those characters are in it.
Well, that's why protagonists have to be characters that you don't necessarily hear about. Or,
there's something that happens that you want to figure out how it happens, So, I don't know. It's...
Although, really, I guess the problem is the, Empire Strikes Back, because I guess if that movie didn't come out, you wouldn't know he's his dad, so you wouldn't know he's Anakin, but whatever.
Yeah.
So...
Spoilers!
So yeah, spoilers, by the way. Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's dad.
I need to scream that out loud one day at Comic-Con.
Right.
Spoilers!
Right. And so, I think the prequels are a lasting kids movie, too. It's funny, because I wonder, nowadays, a kid might watch the first Ninja Turtles movie or Power Rangers the movie and be like, this is just dumb because they've seen so much better quality of effects, and that's really what you care about as a kid is the fighting. But Star Wars will hold up. I think that'll always be a great kids movie. Because you're not going to be wait, Anakin built C-3PO? Wait a minute, what? C-3PO just never told Luke Skywalker about the part where...
Wow, there's a built-in, he got memory wiped.
Don't count, Mike. If they don't say it in the movies, which I don't think they ever did, don't count. I'm pretty sure they didn't because I don't think at the time when he made New Hope, he's like, you know what, in episode 1, 30 years from now, he's gonna build C-3PO. I think he just, last second was like, it'd be cool. I think that's how most things that George Lucas does start out.
For the last ones.
He looks around the room of his, writers, or I don't know, whatever, his development team. It'd be cool. What if this happened? And all the writers are like, well, that's stupid, but I want to keep making a lot of money, so
let's do it.
Yeah, yeah. Just crickets. He's like, I knew it. You love it. You guys all love it.
Hey, let's not have Wookiees in Endor. Let's have Ewoks.
It'd be cool.
Because teddy bears.
What if teddy bears helped save the world? Or save the universe? It's
how dope would... we can't go there. That's...
Would teddy bear-sized Wookiees be? Think about that. Think about how awesome that would be.
Pretty freaking dope.
What would the sound like if it was that small? Think how cute that would be. They could do tandem tactics where you just chuck the Wookiee at them, and the Wookiee's and just rips out their
Well, it crawls underneath the Stormtrooper helmet. The Stormtrooper's like, oh no! He's their hands are just flying around and die, and the Wookiee crawls out covered in blood.
So it becomes the question: would you rather fight 10 Ewok-sized Wookiees or one Wookiee-sized Ewok?
I'll take the Wookiee-sized Ewok.
Yep, any day. Any day of the week, yep. Mm-hmm.
Granted, I'm 300 pounds, so I'm probably way more than the Wookiee-sized Ewok, but...
Right. I agree. 10, think about how fast, 10...
So is
Ewoks
it
has
animal
vision.
cruelty if I roundhouse kick a Wookiee-sized Ewok in the face because it's trying to kill me?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you might just have to, juke around the Wookiee-sized Ewok long enough for it to get tired and give up, because...
So then I'll take a nap, because it's clearly 2 years old.
Yeah, right. Yeah, all the Ewoks had the, intellect of, a 2-year-old. It's like... If they had developed the story to where the Ewoks were, sage-like, you know what I mean? They were, really wise and stuff. You're like, okay, maybe I can see it. They outsmarted the Empire, but, no. They literally were
let's
infants.
pretend that for an instant that the Empire just goes, well, you know what? We could use them for, little slave labor. Let's just round them up.
Now they have a vendetta against the Empire or something.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, so that's...
Anywho's, that's the prequels. They're great kids' movies forevermore, but just don't...
And that takes us to our second favorite movie to talk smack about.
Oh my goodness. So, so this movie doesn't really need smack talked about it, but it's just a so specific place in my heart for Batman Forever. Because...
Oh my god.
I don't remember when it came out, but I remember watching this around the time that I was really into Batman the Animated Series. Yeah, so I was so hype, and then the movie was so good. It was so sick. He had the sickest gadgets. Robin was just a BA. I remember when I was a kid, I was maybe 4 or 5.
Well,
and I had the
They even got a hot British sidekick.
Oh, Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
She's probably the worst part about that movie.
Yeah.
And that's not even her fault. It's just the character is so stupid. But anyways, I had the Batman Forever soundtrack, which, by the way,
the one song
baby
that cannot fit
with Batman.
This one's Schumacher, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was Schumacher.
At least
the
they didn't have
light
fat
from the
nipples.
rose lights the way. I don't know what they say in that song at all.
No, this was Bat Nipples, wasn't it?
Yeah.
This was Bat Nipples.
No, that might... Yeah, I think it was
This was
Nipples.
Bat Nipples.
It might have been the next Batman and Robin, which is unspeakably... nobody thought that was good ever. But... My parents, by the way, because when I saw...
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Let's kick some ice. I remember seeing the preview for Batman Forever. I was like, oh, I gotta see that. Or not Batman Forever. Batman and Robin. I was like, let's go. And my parents wouldn't take me. Not, they were just bad parents. It wasn't like they knew, oh, it's gonna be terrible. Well, they probably did. But they were like, I can't suffer through that with you. And then, years later, I was like, okay, it doesn't count. But it was a good parenting move. But it doesn't count because it wasn't like you knew that you were making a good movie.
Yeah.
You just didn't want to take me to the movie I wanted to see.
My dad fell asleep.
Yeah.
He straight up, passed out.
That's probably the best way to watch that movie, actually.
Asleep.
Asleep, yeah.
I remember he's like, all right, my son has, a juice box. He's got his little kitty popcorn and some gummy bears. And...
He's in hog heaven.
I'm going to sleep, and I'm sure he'll wake me up when we're done.
He's like, I'm going to get my money's worth out of this.
Yes.
He'll never shut up for 2 straight hours ever again. Yeah, and I took but here's the thing, I had the CD case or whatever, I brought that to my hair cutters. I said, make me look like Robin, because he looked sick, he had the buzz cut thing going, and that was my first ever buzz cut, actually.
Which is funny, because, literally, I'm sure the barber was like...
Yeah, the barber kept going, because, they were like, this is going to be a 4, I don't know, whatever the number is of, really short, a 4. And they're like, sure you want this? And I was like, you sure you want this? I was like, yeah, I want to look like Robin. Let's do it. And so they did it. But, at the time, I had a disproportionately huge head. Because, when you're a kid, sometimes you're, my head is, the same size it was when I was, 4. And my brother just made so much fun of me because it looked absurd. When I had a big curly afro-looking do,
Somehow it was better.
It was better because at least the hair, you could, it's just big hair. It's not like a big head.
No,
but then you're
it's
his head is obviously too big for his body.
See, I'd been rocking the crew cut for years at that point, so I was like, whatever. Cool, Robin's got my haircut.
Right. Yeah, everyone
it was my haircut. It was not Robin's.
Which, by the way, going back and watching the movie, and he's kick fighting his laundry. Do you know what I'm talking about? He's literally kung fuing his laundry and gymnasticking his laundry. And you're like, what an inefficient way to do laundry. He's squeegeeing it out by whipping it around and flipping through it and pulling on it.
I get to see Batman walk in and go, okay, quit jerking around and do the laundry.
Yeah, we got stuff to do. Get it in the dryer, dude.
Go!
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, it's like, you're not going to punch the stains out, you moron.
I thought life was training. No, training is training. This is laundry. Or
Right.
like kicks him into the dryer. This is laundry.
Right.
Boom.
Now, Jim Carrey's Riddler, probably the high point of the movie. I don't think it's a good Riddler, but like in the flavor of that movie and being
It
in
was
the
the
90s,
least putrid thing going on at the time.
right? But the problem is, if you notice, you have Tommy Lee Jones, which is a great actor, by the way. This is not his fault, I'm sure, because I don't think he really cared about or knew about Two-Face, probably.
No.
But he's like doing the same things as Riddler, like his style, and like he's just over the top making jokes. I'm like, this is not the Joker or the Riddler. This is Two-Face.
Yeah, you either have
He's cackling. He's running around cackling and making puns, and you're like, what?
Yeah. He's either stoic, OCD, Harvey Dent,
Or like
or he's like the very brutal,
vehemently
like
spitting fire.
putrid
Yeah.
Two-Face.
Right.
Like it's one or the other. Like he's got split personality syndrome, and jokes are not his thing.
Right.
At
Yeah,
all.
his whole thing is he lacks a sense of humor. Like, he's very... Cause that's his whole thing with Chance. It's like the most dry thing you can imagine. That's why he likes Chance, because it's just right or wrong and done.
It's fair.
Yeah, right. So, then, yeah... Just,
Well, I'm sure Tommy Lee Jones is like, so let me get this straight. You hired me, Tommy Lee Jones, to play a quirky villain.
Yeah, which, by the way, yeah, Tommy Lee Jones thrives in, like, deadpan, dry...
He's Agent K.
Yeah, right. And every movie that he's good in, he's usually like, I'm Tommy Lee Jones, and I don't got time for this. Like, No Country for Old Men, he was just like the old cop that's like, oh, yeah, I'm here, doing my job.
Yep.
Well, that's unfortunate. Sorry about that, man. Or like
It's too bad you got killed by a guy named after the small, aggravating insect that you find in grass.
Yeah, so it's just not the role for him. Everything about it is terrible. Nicole Kidman, like, doesn't work as love interest in my opinion, just because you know Batman would be like, yeah, no, I'm. Like,
Well, and I'm getting Batman Forever mixed up with Batman. You know, is it Batman Forever where Alfred's daughter or niece comes?
something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Nah.
And then he like lets. Is that the one where he like lets her? No, that might have been Batman Returns, where he just like lets somebody into the Batcave. I think it might have been, or it might have been in the first one even. Like Vicky Vale, he's just like, oh, she found a way in, sir. It's like, no, Alfred, your whole thing is that you're his only confidant, and you just let somebody into the Batcave.
Yeah.
How are you not fired? Or like, I would break his neck. I'm like, I gotta break my one rule.
Well, and I get why people like.
Which I don't think he had a one rule in those ones, but whatever.
I just think it wasn't stated.
No, he actually no. I was, if you listen to Kevin Smith's podcast where they watch the first Batman, he kills a ass load of people. He literally
Really?
blows up a whole blows it up, and it's not like one of those things where he's like, "Oh yeah, I made sure they got out." Like you see the villains like diving away from the bombs, and then it just shows the car peeling out and coming out the gate, and the whole thing exploding.
Explodes.
You're like,
He did kill.
Yeah, he's a mass murderer. Yeah.
Well, it's a Tim Burton movie. I mean,
And not to mention, like, it was like later on when the Joker's in like Times Square of equivalent of Gotham, he's in his Batplane. He just opened fires on the Joker, and granted, everyone's like running away from the Joker, but it's like you can't just.
that's right. He's got straight up guns on the
Yeah,
Batplane.
yeah. He's like shooting a giant machine gun into like it's gonna be ricocheting everywhere. You know what I mean? It's like he probably just inadvertently like mauled down like 50 people.
This is why I don't get why comic fanboys hate Nolan's universe compared to Burton's or Schumacher's.
Well, people who like the original Batman movies are refusing. Like, they don't want to lose their childhood love. That's what it is, dude. They don't want to like look at. I doubt they've watched it recently.
Oh yeah, well,
Because if you watch it again, it doesn't hold up. I guarantee you.
I had this argument. There's a woman named Anna who is basically like a older sibling because my mom knows her, yada yada, but she is a diehard nerd like us,
Right.
And she and I got in an argument. Michael Keaton versus
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. And I said, here's why Michael Keaton is never going to be the Batman, let alone my Batman. And I pulled up the picture of Jack Nicholson's
Arm.
hand
Yeah.
encompassing his arm.
Right.
The Joker is bigger and buffer than Batman.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. Not allowed.
Right.
Bull-
Yeah. No, definitely.
No.
Michael Keaton wasn't even shit. It's like, couldn't they have at least gotten this guy on like a high protein diet or something? Like he is puny.
Back then, they did not make lead guys bulk up for stuff.
Right.
And at least, like, people jump down my throat when I say this. If you could make Brad Pitt dye his hair black,
Right.
he would be
A good.
a good Batman. in that universe. He would be perfect.
Yeah.
He's tall. He's athletic. He can act.
Right.
It's like, I mean, and even George Clooney, had he just buffed up a little bit for
No, we'll have to do this, little sneak tidbit of what you might hear. We might do a podcast about actors who've gotten better over time.
Yes.
I want to do just overrated actors, because George Clooney, I thought about this the other day. Think of one movie that George Clooney was just outstanding in. Go.
The Descendants,
Okay, I've never seen it.
Syriana, and
And he was out. Now, if this is, because most of the movies I've seen is like George Clooney just being George Clooney. He's like a suave, cool guy that degaffs. That's like his role.
Well, no.
He doesn't actually act in most of his movies. I feel like.
He was very good in Syriana, and he was very good in The Descendants.
Okay, I'll have to watch him. I would say I've only seen most of his like blockbustery movies, and he's the same. Even in Gravity, I'm like, this is just George Clooney.
Yeah.
Which they got him, I know, to be George Clooney, but
Well, and Ocean's 11,
it's not. He's.
okay.
It's a good movie, and he's not bad in it, but
I'll
it's just
kind
like
of
he's not doing
check.
anything.
I'll kind of a check because that movie had Daniel Ocean be that suave guy back when the Rat Pack was doing it. So
like,
it's not like we invented this role just for Clooney. No, Clooney happened to be that, like, he's the closest thing we got to a Frank Sinatra
yeah.
front man.
I'm just bitter because he, like, I don't know, I'm just bitter because he didn't bring anything. There's nothing for him to bring, though, with the script, I guess. To Batman, but
people were like, what's your advice to Christian Bale about being Batman? And George Clooney, like, looks him in the eye and says, I am not the guy to ask.
Yeah.
And then walks away.
yeah. I mean, he's a good Bruce Wayne, a bad Batman.
Yeah.
Because Bruce Wayne, no, he's not a good Bruce Wayne. He's a good, quote-unquote Bruce Wayne. He's good at being the ego that Bruce Wayne made up, but he really is that. Alright, well, I'll have to watch some good George Clooney movies, because I've rarely thought he was outstanding. Like, I don't think he's bad in anything. Like, he usually does what he does well.
He's just pretty overrated.
But he just kind of does the same thing in every movie.
Has he got an Oscar yet for something?
That's a good question. I bet he has. He's been around long enough, but who knows? So yeah,
Or Leo.
Yeah, so Batman Forever, just, if you remember liking it, don't rewatch it.
Leave it lie.
I'm sure I didn't need to tell you that, but still. And it's one of those things where I think a lot of these movies that don't hold up over time, like, that people defend, it's like, they're not judging it. They're letting nostalgia get in the way.
The harder they argue, the more they're trying to convince themselves.
Because that's why, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I tell people all the time certain things, like, objectively, this is a better movie, but I prefer this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm fine. If somebody wants to say that, like, if somebody was like, Dark Knight, objectively better than Batman Returns, I just prefer Batman Returns because I was, 15 when I saw it.
Fair enough.
Okay, fair enough, at least, but, like, it's when people are like, no, they're good. And you're like,
Or, like, okay, so you'll forgive that Batman is smaller than the Joker, but you will not forgive that Bane had a funky voice.
yeah.
Or that...
You don't inhale pain drugs, that's just unrealistic.
You mean kind of like surfing with metal on something, which we're not sure if it's air or helium that the atmosphere in Tim Burton's universe is made out of, because Batman.
He re-engineered the air in Gotham.
Or that diamonds make ice. Really, we're gonna go here? Like, well, and then they go, well, that's not what that one was like. I'm like, okay then. Different levels of suspension of disbelief. You really think it's that hard for Bruce Wayne to get from Morocco, which I'm assuming that's where the giant pit was, to Gotham?
And by the way, if you watch the movie and pay attention, I think it's 3 months?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, how did you get there overnight? I'm like, okay, I understand they didn't do the best cut, because they cut to it, but when he climbs out of
the newscast says.
I think it was like 97 days or something like that, they said, since quarantine, whenever Bruce Wayne, and then like the next scene is Bruce Wayne climbing out of the pit, right? It's 5 months to 5.5 months that we know, because they stated that the bomb was going to blow for like 5.5 months. Mm-hmm. So 90 days is like 3 months? Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, he had 2 months to 2.5 months to get there.
To hook up with at least one of the many very rich people he knows.
And then they're like, wait, what are you doing in Morocco? Oh, you know how it gets when you party too hard on your private jet.
And they're going to be like, you know what, this guy's weird.
Let's just get him there and get him out of our hair.
Yeah, you're like, okay, well, we've heard about him burning down his mansion, so the sooner we get him home.
Yeah, right. Because we still want to do business with Wayne Industries at some point.
Yeah.
Although I guess you could say he lost his fortune, but he still has his reputation. You know what I mean?
There is a long and storied history of really old rich families running out of money and then basically taking advantage of their deep friendships with other ones until they get it again.
Yeah,
right.
right.
All the time, especially with old British money, which I hate to break it to you, Wayne is British.
Right.
They're old English
Well, because
money.
at least you know what, this is more recent. But like in the Snyder thing, they kind of go into like the Wayne. Like there's 4 power families in Gotham since Gotham, like that, like founded Gotham, and the Waynes are one of them.
The Waynes,
so they're old money. I mean, they're new money.
The Waynes, the Pennyworths, the Arkhams, and the
Cobblepots.
No, not the, sorry. The Waynes, the Cobblepots, the Arkhams, and there's another one.
Right. So anyways,
Martha. No, it was Martha Arkham, right before.
Yeah, the Arkhams were one of them because they're the ones that founded Arkham Asylum.
What's the first one? It's going to bug me.
Go
now.
play Arkham Asylum. They have a lot of great backstory about the Arkhams in general. So that's all I need to say.
Why did I say Pennyworth? That was clearly the name itself. Pennyworth.
Yeah, come on, Mike. They're a family of butlers for all of history. Alfred inherited the butler profession from his father.
So I'm a gentleman's gentleman.
So the last one we're going to talk about for this one, and this one is not as bad as a lot of these. This one is like we put on here because I think it's valid, but it's not as egregious as like Batman Forever.
Digging up, digging. Digging up, wow. Digging up.
So, holes, if you could not tell from our...
You got to go and dig those holes.
Let me get some of that sploosh. Holes, it's not a bad movie, per se. Like I said, it's not as egregious as some of these, but I just don't see it... Like, I watched it pretty recently, and I was like, it just doesn't... It's not great. It's not a great movie.
Yeah.
It's fun, especially if you were the right age when the book came out. So you're one of those people that read the book and was like, whoa, now I'm going to go watch the movie. Because this is like another one. This is before every book became a movie, too.
You know, I
like this is post Harry Potter, so it wasn't unheard of. But like this is one of the first like non-classic books, because I guess like all like Monte Cristo and all those old movies are like books.
You want to know the irony? Guess who's in this one?
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah. Wait, why is that irony?
It's an inside joke between Kev and I. We were joking about another cast we were going to do.
Oh, yeah, we almost did a Shia LaBeouf cast. Yeah. And like, this Shia LaBeouf's actually good. I mean, he's basically doing his Even Steven thing.
Stanley Yelnats.
Yeah, right. But, you know, it's just one of those things where I just don't think the story holds up in general. Because we were talking about it. We're like, isn't it get a little weird that the only activity they do at this...
Or that the ACLU wouldn't have jumped down the throat of any poor warden dumb enough to... I mean, child labor laws, not to mention in prison, they're pretty much all minority kids. Like, this is just not going to go well, like, in court. Like, that's... you wouldn't have anything like this.
Yeah.
Juvia, I mean,
I guess, I think they're playing up the whole thing like it's in obscure place in Texas, so, like, nobody comes to check up on it, I guess, kind of a thing. Like, the parents send them there and, like, don't worry about it. And, like, no, you know, the authorities don't really, like... But still.
Oh, God, dude, they're... I mean...
How are you gonna, like, explain that? Yeah, the one activity we do... Like, we're here to build character and help these boys get back on track. We do that by digging holes. Okay, what else do you do? Just dig holes.
Yeah. So no educational programs,
so yeah, I was gonna
school.
say... So they learn math? Do they... Like, yeah, exactly. Like,
case in point, why all it would take is for one random pro bono lawyer to get a hold of this. They'd see a payday.
Right.
They'd be like, all right.
Sue up the wazoo.
We're going to get the government to pay millions for this crap. I'm going to get a big fat check. And...
And, like, this is more nitpicky, I'll admit, but, like, Mike, you were saying, like, the fact that they don't fill the holes is a big red flag.
Yeah.
Like, if you're digging a hole for character, why would you not why would you keep going farther out and farther out for miles digging holes and not replacing any of them?
Yeah, like the Zen exercise... is dig a hole, fill it up. You learn about the futility and necessity of hard work.
Right.
But if you just dig the hole...
And then keep digging more holes and more holes...
You're just making the countryside look really ugly.
Yeah, right. It's just like...
And giving more homes for the poisonous lizards that apparently
is there no...
desert.
Oh, yeah, that only... Like, I forget, did they befriend them? I'm trying to remember. They were, like, stuck in the hole.
They figured out that onions make them not want to bite you. Because apparently... a vegetable that is largely water and cellulose.
Right.
Somehow,
I want to know where they filmed the God's thumb part, by the way, because it must have been like a specific part of Texas, because there aren't, like, in El Paso and stuff, there's mountains in Texas, but I've never seen a mountain that big in Texas.
I'm pretty sure the God's thumb part was filmed outside of Texas, either in Nevada, New Mexico, or Arizona.
Right. I don't think they have mountains like that.
Well, and that foliage it's not native to the Texas desert.
Right.
Do you know what it's called? I know it's not the Sonoran. What's the name of the desert?
Yeah, I wouldn't know what it's called.
It's not Mojave either. Anyways, the brush, the sagebrush that was in that shot, I'm really making
Where they
myself
start eating the onions, or
Yeah. I'm really...
you try-hard.
I'm making myself into a biology nerd right now. But
You're biology try-hard right now.
that sagebrush is native to the Mojave and the Sonoran Desert, which is like New Mexico, Nevada, Arizona area.
Right.
Not to my knowledge in Texas. Because
Right.
Texas is a different water cycle. And that's when I'm going to stop being a nerd.
Here's the thing, because I've driven Arizona, Texas, like 5 times now. Twice by myself. It was horrible. So, like, you go around El Paso, because New Mexico, obviously mountainous for most of it. You come through, and, like, you go from Las Cruces, it's only about 50 miles or something like that to El Paso. You come to El Paso, there's all kinds of mountains, all directions. Like, El Paso's built around mountains. You come around, and you start heading east, like hard east. You kind of go south, and then in a loop around El Paso. Come back north a little ways, then cut east. And if you look to your south, there's mountains. And then for the next 100 or so miles, you'll get mountains, but they're not like just giant.
They're like little hillies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that, once you get a little further east, like there's no mountains. I can't speak to southeast Texas, like San Antonio, Houston. I've never been there, but I'm pretty sure there's no mountains there.
Come to think of it, I've been to New York, I've been to D.C., I've been to Florida, New Mexico, Nevada, California, Georgia, Baltimore, Virginia. Nope, not Texas.
Baltimore's not a state.
Or sorry, Maryland.
No, I'm just kidding. There's only one city in Maryland that matters, so. Yeah. You never been to Texas?
Nope, I never have. I'm surprised.
Yeah, you're not missing much. No, I'm just kidding. I like Texas. Parts of it.
Yeah.
So that about does it. Depending on if people like this, we were thinking about doing, there's Ruined Childhood Loves cartoons. We could do Ruined Childhood Loves video games, like even books. Like
full disclosure, video games is going to be hard for me because I'm that fanboy about a video game that I played as a kid and liked. Cough, cough, Sly Cooper.
Certain games hold up better than others, just depending. But
Cough, cough, Sly Cooper.
It's just kind of fun to like. Well, it's not fun. It's like fun to ruin these things for other people.
Yes, it is.
We've kind of ruined them for ourselves. Yeah, it's not fun you ruin for yourselves. But we want to share our pain of like, and it's just kind of, it is fun though. If there's fun to be found in it, it is just kind of fun to like look back and be like, man, as a kid, I totally did not care about how stupid that was.
Oh yeah, they're like, I totally overlooked that.
Which there is something to be said about that because being a kid teaches you how to just have fun at a movie for Pete's Peppers. Yep. And, when we used to work at the movies and get free movies, that taught me a lesson, like, I think the reason we get so bitter about movies is because they're so expensive. You're like, I paid $20 for me and my date to see this, and it sucked. But, like, when I used to go to free movies...
Oh, God, you didn't care.
I was not objective anymore, because I'm like, if somebody would be like, how was it? I'd be like,
Men in Black 3.
Yeah, I didn't pay. I don't know. Yeah. It's fine.
Long story short, I was able to swing Kev and another friend of ours to go see it because I worked at the movie theater out in Tempe.
Yeah,
and
it was good.
We were like, cool, yeah, sweet. Had I paid for that, I'd probably be like, wow, I don't recommend anybody pay for that.
Yeah, you're right. I can't recommend that to anybody. And then you like don't really like once you go to enough free movies, you're not really thinking about the reason. Like, oh, that's why I didn't mind that movie. I've had this conversation with so many friends that still work in the movies or like years past work to the movies where they're like, I'm like, this movie sucked. And then I'd be like, I don't remember that movie being so bad. I was like, you went for free, didn't you? Like, oh.
Yep.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I know. No movie is that bad when you go for free.
Nope.
Unless it's Transformers 4 or whatever it was called.
Dude, I wouldn't. I refused.
Yeah, I paid money for that movie. That was literally one of my big regrets in life was paying to go see Transformers 4.
My dad wanted to see a movie with me.
There was literally nothing else out at the time.
There was nothing else at that point.
Yeah,
he was like, come on, let's just go see it. Come on, the dinosaurs look cool. And I'm like, you know what? It is really funny that my dad...
said the dinosaurs look cool.
he's being, and this is kind of an inverse thing because he's being more mature by being quote unquote less mature,
right?
About the palette of the
because he's trying to look at the Transformers movies. It's just fun because that's what they are. They're just fun.
Literally, I think that's why Michael Bay gets all butthurt when everybody says you're not a good director. He's like, well, no, I'm not a good drama director, but don't lie. If you were a little buzzed and didn't care. You would love the Transformers movies because it'd be like some explosions.
Yeah, right.
And we're like, yeah, but, I could watch The Rock, which has that end plot.
Right. Yeah, there are other... Oh, with Nick Cage? And Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
Welcome to The Rock, Nicolas Cage.
I have a very awkward accent.
I don't quite know. It's like, it's just the Sean Connery.
It's from Scotland, apparently.
Do you know what kind of accent Sean Connery has?
Supposedly from Scotland.
No, he has a Sean Connery accent. That's the kind of accent he has.
Yes, but he claims it's from Northern Isles of
From
Scotland.
Scotland. Apparently they talk like this.
Well, now he lives in the Caymans because he refuses to ever go back to Scotland until they're independent, which is like not going to happen now for a while.
I think they're making fun of that on Conan or something. They're having like the Sean Connery like push for independence or whatever.
Yeah. And then J.K. Rowling put money into Unite England. Like, God, John Oliver made a really funny joke. He's like, of course, the lady who wrote a book about a magical British boy who has a sidekick, redheaded best friend whose family all dies in the war he starts.
Right.
Come along, Ron. I will have all the magical powers, and your family can die fighting my battles. Sounds like Britain.
No, that's not fair. Harry's family already died.
Oh, it's not fair at all, but it is really, really funny.
Yeah.
If you
You're right. Considering his family already died. I'm just saying. So anyways, I don't think we're going anywhere with anything at this point, so.
I mean, do we ever?
Touche. So we'll wrap it up, guys. Thanks for listening. Have a great week. We're gonna most likely be talking Marvel next week, so get pumped, get excited, get stoked. If you haven't already listened to probably 100 other podcasts about Marvel stuff at this point.
And remember, there are no strings on me.
Touche.
All my days in the streets trying to prove that I was bad. I still elevated to the level that I'm at. Still elevated to the level that I'm at.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
We're trapped inside the matrix, forced to play our hand. We're filled with so much hatred. The kids don't stand a chance. I said the kids